Hello everyone and welcome to CryptoRed, the crypto news channel. Today we're going to talk about Ethereum and the difficulties surrounding staking in particular. We're also going to talk about Justin Sun, who is moving billions, and the impact it has on Ethereum. We also discuss ETFs, especially the Ondo ETFs that is expected to launch. We talk about Donald Trump and Bitcoin and many other topics. Let's start with cryptocurrency prices. Today, most cryptocurrencies are down. You can see Bitcoin at $118,000. ETH at $3,600, XRP down 5%. Well, now let's talk about the different news. Ethereum, we're gonna look at the number of transactions on the Ethereum network. It might not seem like a lot, but we are getting close to 20 transactions per second on the Ethereum network, thanks to the recent increase in the gas limit. This gas limit is only going to continue rising. Many technological innovations are underway. We're currently around 40 million gas and the target is 1 gigagas. So the number of transactions keeps increasing. Layer 2 solutions, L2s, are also continuing to develop, which increase the overall capacity of the Ethereum network when viewed as a complete ecosystem. This is a good thing. Not long ago, we were at 13 to 14 transactions per second. Now we are 20. And I believe, as I've said before, this will continue to rise. This is mainly due to the Ethereum Foundation, refocusing its research effort on increasing the capacity of the main network rather than solely on the layer 2 solutions. These are now two parallel strategies, scaling the main network and developing L2s. This is very beneficial for Ethereum. Next, something rather strange happened with Aave. Borrowing rates on Aave exploded, particularly for borrowing ETH. What happened? Justin Sun, the whale and creator of Tron, who is a billionaire with a lot of funds on the Ethereum network, withdrew a large portion of his funds from Aave. This caused a liquidity shortage on Aave, which in turn caused interest rates to spike temporarily. These rate spikes were problematic for users running loops on Aave, those trying to generate yield through leverage strategies. For instance, 10x leverage loops on STETH. These users were temporarily losing money because the rates were too high and they had to liquidate some of their positions. To liquidate positions, they had two options: sell STETH on the secondary market, such as on Curve or other decentralized exchanges, where the transaction is instant but subject to market rates, which may be lower than the real value, or withdraw directly from Lido, which could take between 10 to 21 days. For now, it's 21 days to withdraw it from Aave, from Lido. So it's really a lot. Otherwise, you have to swap, and if you swap, you will lose 0.34%. There is a depeg for the STETH. So people can lose money right now, and there's also an opportunity to arbitrage and buy STETH right now to then withdraw from Lido and earn the 0.34% in 21 days, which is pretty good yield to have. So yeah, be careful when you leverage with loop. I don't recommend doing this. Back to Ethereum. Sharplink, the company accumulating Ether, had just bought another 97 million worth. They've now reached 360,000 ETH. They sold 100 million worth of shares to buy even more Ether, and these trends continue. I believe they're expected to buy a lot more in the next few months. There are strong institutional interest. Institutions are buying shares in Sharplink as a way to gain exposure to Ether, and they're investing in this company for that purpose. Now, let's talk about Donald Trump. There's some news that came out the day before yesterday that I haven't covered yet. Trump Media, the company owned by Donald Trump, bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. That's pretty huge. The former president's company, the president of the United States company bought directly $2 billion. So that means they have the majority of the liquid assets in BTC. So it's really amazing. We already know that Trump is a fan of BTC and crypto in general. We're seeing that reflected in the current administration and the new regulation being introduced. So of course, there's an obvious conflict of interest here. He's profiting from regulation, he's pushing forward, but I'm not going to complain if Trump is helping pump the price of cryptocurrencies. Next, there's an ETF in the works. We're talking about 21 shares. They filed a request to launch an ETF focused on Ondo, I spoke a lot about Ondo. This company is working on the RWAs, real world assets. They've got their own token and two major products, each managing hundreds of millions of dollars. According to RWA rankings, they hold the 5th and 6th position, with protocols managing $700 million and $653 million. I've talked a lot about Ondo, and to be honest, I have some concern. The utility of the Ondo token seems questionable. It's basically pointless. If I'm being honest, it's only used to govern a really small DeFi protocol named Flux Finance. That said, the ETF news is good. It's good news for Ondo. We'll see if other entities also jump in to launch other Ondo ETFs. So wait and see. And now let's talk about Pump.fun and its competitor, Bonk. First, the Pump token has dropped below its ICO price. I warned you that it was risky and overvalued. And unfortunately, that warning was accurate. Meanwhile, Bonk, the launchpad tied to the memecoin Bonk on Solana, is gaining market share at the expense of Pump.fun. It has reached 64% of the market share among memecoins launchpad on Solana. It's really quite huge. Bonk, it's crazy what their community has done. To the leader Pump.fun. The question now is, will it last? In any case, it's definitely a problem for Pump.fun, which used to dominate the memecoin launchpad space, providing an easy solution to launch meme coins, and now they're being overtaken by this new competitor. Pump receives a lot of criticism. I'm often one of those criticizing Pump.fun, but what they've done is bring something to the table that was previously complex, launching tokens easily. They created a very simple interface. They allowed anyone to launch token, and even if they're just meme coins, there's genuine innovation in what Pump has done. They simplified the deployment of simple smart contracts without needing to be a developer, without copying code from GitHub or using contracts from OpenZeppelin and deploying them manually on the blockchain. That used to be complex, and they turned it into something accessible through a very simple interface. That's why it works. That's why they've been successful. So yes, I criticize them, but I respect the innovation and the way they simplify things. Of course, it's human nature to speculate, and people are speculating on meme coins. Speaking of meme coins, let's talk about Dogecoin. There's a group around Dogecoin, a company that's developing My Doge wallet, which just proposed the mainnet update for Dogecoin, the OP Check ZKP. This will allow layer 2 solutions on Dogecoin similar to what exists on Ethereum with ZK rollups and ZK VMs. It will enable smart contracts capable blockchain to be built on Dogecoin. That's very interesting from both a technological and adoption perspective. It could allow smart contracts and many other possibilities. It's the kind of proposal that many people would love to see on Bitcoin, but which hasn't happened yet. Right now on Bitcoin, we're seeing layer 2 solutions that aren't really true layer 2s. There's no direct link or way to verify things on Bitcoin mainnet from a layer 2. But if Dogecoin moves forward with this, it could inspire Bitcoin to do something similar. Finally, there's Fogo, a layer 1 blockchain that uses the Solana virtual machine and the FireDancer client developed by Jump Crypto. They've just launched their public testnet. They see themselves as a high-performance blockchain aimed at trading. In my views, it's another competitor in the high-performance blockchain space alongside names like Aptos and Sui. So we'll soon have a new version, a new serious player in the field. They raised funds a while ago on Echo, but now they're actually launching their project on the testnet, which is the testing environment. They may be potential to farm an airdrop here, but honestly, airdrop farming can be very time consuming. I recommend doing it only if you have a lot of time and a really small capital of crypto. The more time you spend farming airdrops, the greater the chance you'll end up with a decent chunk of your portfolio coming from those airdrops. But if you already have a large portfolio, spending hours on airdrops make little sense. That's all I wanted to share with you today regarding the latest news. I hope you enjoyed the content. If so, don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe. See you tomorrow for more. Bye.